Hello, I'm Gregory Payne, the Chair of Communication Studies, the first communication department in the United States, also the Director of the Emerson Blanquerna Global Center, and we're here for another episode of PAYNE on Politics. Today, I'm excited because we have a global advocate for all types of things, Makeighly Santos. Welcome to PAYNE on Politics.
Thank you so much.
Makeighly, I've got to see you many times at Emerson because you come to various events, and your activities just seem to be, beyond Emerson and very, very much into, I think, changing the world. Can you give us a little bit of background? You came to us from Franklin. How did you get to Franklin? But before that, just tell me where you were born and sort of the pathway to where you are now.
I was born in Concord, Massachusetts. And then when I was around 8 years old, my family moved to Florida. And I've lived all over the United States, been in Brazil. My family is Brazilian from Espírito Santo.
Okay.
And then I found myself studying in Switzerland, part of Emerson's 2+2 program.
Now, how was that at Franklin? Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Yes. Beautiful area.
Yes.
Yes. But now you're back in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're back here, you're in political communication. What area of political communication do you want to go into once you graduate?
Next steps after I graduate is I plan to go to law school. And so
Okay.
I've been preparing for that. And that's part of what I've been doing around Boston is making sure I'm able to connect with people who have followed a similar path to me. So then I have a leeway and I can ask questions.
Well, that's one of our biggest and fastest growing majors would be pre-law. What is it about law that you would like to continue study, and what do you hope to practice in terms of your career?
Specifically, I'm very interested in space law, and so that's where I have connected with the Boston Space Network. I am working on a few projects with them,
Right.
and it's just very
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, what is space law? I don't know. This is the first I've heard, but every day when I come to Emerson, the delight is a new package, and that is space law.
Yeah. So currently there is not much laws in outer space, and what we've kind of seen is it's very similar to maritime law, as people, there's not one like over governing force over all other countries.
So
And
no, like United Space, like the United Nations. So this is, how do we chart our laws, and how would those conflict or be congruent to, say, China or Russia?
So what the United States tries to do is they release the Artemis Accords, and countries that agree to follow that law follow it, and those that don't, such as China and Russia, don't follow it.
Right.
And that's what we've run into. And so there needs to be something that brings, in my opinion, everybody together.
Yes.
So then we can find a way to work together, so then we can have further research into space instead of fighting, because I don't think fighting really takes us anywhere.
So conflict resolution. How did you get focused on space? Have you always been interested in astronomy, astrology, and all that?
Not specifically. Last year at Franklin University, I was able to connect with one of their alumni named Adrian, and he at the time was working with NASA and doing, I think, like $80 million contract deals with them.
Right.
And I spoke with him, and he invited me to go to IAC, which is International Astronautical Congress in Milan.
Terrific.
And I didn't really know what I was walking into. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. So I
Yes.
went, and I met all of these amazing people. And at that time, I knew I was interested in law and policy, but I didn't really have a specific, like, toned-in interest until I went there. And that overall just, like, really inspired me. And from that, I connected with the Space Generation Advisory Council, Space Force Association, and then those contacts connected me with the Boston Space Network, which is what I'm part of here now.
Terrific. And the Boston Space Network, what are some of the activities they do, and then what are you doing? Now, this is an extraordinary Emerson new chapter, so to speak.
Overall, it's a way for professionals in the space area to connect with other professionals, and through them, I have been able to meet engineers and talk to them about their day-to-day. At at their last social event, I met a rocket engineer named Lily, and she was explaining to me how to build rockets, and she was telling me, she said a statement, and I thought it was really funny, because she said, it's not that hard, it's just building a rocket. And I was like, oh, cool, okay. Now I want to build a rocket too, that'd be cool.
So really a great networking opportunity.
Yes,
Right?
it is.
Yes. The one thing that I've noticed since you've been here, and as I said, you come up to the 8th floor, often, which we're very excited, is you have all these various activities. You were at the retrospective last week, and I know you posted that you really enjoyed that. What are you finding most interesting about Emerson and your experience here?
Overall, the first thing I really like about Emerson is how I'm able to get involved in not only Emerson, but also the community surrounding Emerson very easily.
Right.
And I think that's one major difference I had here versus at Franklin. And one thing is definitely the language barrier, because in Switzerland they speak Italian, German, and French, and we were in Lugano, which is the Italian speaking part.
Yes.
And to get involved there, I didn't know the language or know anybody. And I was able to accomplish stuff, but I feel like the process took a lot longer than here. I just walked in, and then the first week, I was able to set up stuff. And even over the summer before I came here, I was messaging and setting up what I could do.
Right.
And now it's just like, I've been able to accomplish so much more just because I can speak English.
And it's only November, and here you go. Now, in addition to your interest in terms of networking, schoolwork, political communication, you also have a very active interest. You've been a part of and won many pageants. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, there's this multifaceted piece of you.
Well, I do love fashion, and that's something I actually did as well in Franklin University. As I started the fashion club there, and that was a great opportunity. And through that was how I kind of got connected with the community. And my mom did some pageants, and she asked me if I could too, and so I did. And I won Miss International World Petite Brazil, and then most recently I won Miss International World Petite, which is the main title, this September. And that has been a great opportunity for me to get more into modeling and the pageant world and fashion in like a different way that I hadn't been in before.
So this part of you that is very intriguing, because you're very cerebral, you're into this whole space thing, then you've got this particular piece. From your pageants and your competition, what do you find is sort of your learning points in terms of leadership and putting you, I guess, one step forward?
I guess one thing is it really taught me to one thing I've been learning is just going for stuff and doing it and trying.
Right.
Because I'm not necessarily I've never had professional training experience in pageants or fashion or photo shoots or modeling, but I found that if you just try, you can really do anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think, that epitomizes, I think, so much of at least our approach, my approach in comm studies is try it. Maybe you're not going to like it, but I'll give you an example. We had a couple of your colleagues went over and argued a case before a retired justice over at Suffolk at the law school. Several came back and said, this is what I want to do. One came back and said, I definitely don't want to do that. You seem to be someone who tries things and said, yeah, I want to do all that. How do you fit all those myriad of activities together in 24 hours and still, maintain, time for you to meditate and take care of yourself?
I just have a calendar right above my desk in my room, and I write everything down, and I schedule everything in, including like hanging out with friends, to sleeping, to eating, to doing
nice
stuff like this.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So what are your plans then? We've got, of course, the holidays. What are you planning on doing for, say, summer 26? Have you figured that out?
For summer 2026, I actually recently sent my application in for the Brooke Owens Fellowship, and that is a program to directly connect women in women and diverse communities into the space world, and to help them get internships.
Wonderful.
I have not heard back yet,
Yes.
but that's my plan.
Well, there was a great docudrama, I'm trying to remember the name of it, that was really showing the importance of women and diverse women in terms of the space race, and, the man on the moon and all that. So this is going to be another chapter that you're a part of?
Yes.
Yes. Let me ask you this. If you were talking to people, talking to students about what makes Emerson unique, what would that be?
One thing I think that really makes Emerson unique are the extracurricular and co-curricular opportunities and how easy it is to get involved and how I can just join something and do it. And that's something I really enjoy and I really enjoyed doing. I recently joined CPLA and I literally just walked in and said hi and I volunteered with them and
Right.
they were so opening and welcome to me and open to me talking and sharing my opinion, which is something I also really enjoyed, is having different discussions with students and I get to learn like different perspectives. And that's another thing about Emerson is how like diverse the community is here.
Yes.
Because there's people from all over the world and people that have traveled to people that have grown up in a small town and this is their opportunity to like see something big as Boston. And so I think that's really interesting.
I think what's, that is kind of music to my ears when you think about this particular project. You know, behind the camera on PAYNE on Politics is Cole and Shawnee. They're from the VMA, or School of Film, exactly. I need to make that correction. And what's interesting, I think, from my perspective as a chair, is the ability to just bring talented people together, collaborative projects. We don't have silos, common collective, which I know that Mark Brody is involved in, enables people from across the campus to get together. So what I hope is that you will come back soon and we can get another chapter of what makes Makeighly very, very special. You've added dynamism to our department. We wish you nothing but the best. And I can't wait to talk to people and say, I've met somebody who's going to be on the first Space Force Commission from Emerson. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, take care. Tune in for another episode of PAYNE on Politics and find out exactly why we say Emerson College extraordinary. All the best.